Hello and welcome back to
the Zak
and Buzz
Review Who, because we're reviewing Who,
or Doctor Isn't, as we've affectionately come to call it.
This is the fourth episode and the second Doctor Isn't we've had, because this time he isn't really in it.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's in it for like 2 minutes
At the beginning and a tiny bit at the end.
Spoilers. Well, everyone's probably seen it by now. The episode title was 73 Yards,
Exactly.
and that was kind of like a weird title, and we kind of wanted to know why it was called 73 Yards, especially like in the build-up to this episode. And to be honest, the build-up to this episode, especially with the preview last week, was actually pretty good. Yes. It looked like it was going to be some kind of horror-themed Welsh village, like isolated town thing. You pointing to a little reference there?
Yeah, a little reference,
But
I mean, okay, to sort of kind of not sum up, but I actually liked this episode for what it was.
Okay.
Okay, and I've been doing the old media scanning since it aired, and there is again this yin and yang,
to and fro. Yeah.
There's a lot of people who really loved it, and a lot of people who just said, "What did I watch? What was the point in that?" So that's what we're going to discuss.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps we should start with the good points. For me, the good point of this story episode was around the first 5 to 10 minutes. It was all up until that point where the people in the pub went, we're taking you for a laugh.
Yeah, because the guy with the pasties was...
Because until that point, it had a really good atmosphere. Very tension.
There was tension.
Lots of like horror themes in there.
Yeah, I mean, they came in... everybody on social media was going crazy about the slaughtered lamb reference, because basically she turns up in this village, which happens to be in Wales, and in fact that's where the slaughtered lamb was in American Werewolf in London, was filmed in Wales, even though I think it was meant to be up in Yorkshire in the movie. But anyway, so she turns up and there's the sign swinging there, which I think is in Welsh said dead wood.
Not that that meant anything.
And then she goes into the pub, and of course immediately it's like, yeah, I love American Werewolf in London, but why are you just regurgitating this?
Again, it just reminds me of things I would prefer to be watching right now.
Yeah, you're not doing anything new here, writers. You're just using other people's stuff.
Yeah.
And so we not only had that kind of small pub scene, literally out of the playbook of American Werewolf in London, even to the point of having the bar woman, the landlady, saying you can't have any food. Yeah. But I'll do you some breakfast. But it's like, the bonus though for me was it had Sian Phillips in it, who is British acting gold, to have her actually in that scene. So that was great. But I'm thinking, why am I watching American Werewolf in London at this point?
I'm sorry, but this is slightly bizarre, because it started off being this Doctor Who thing, and then obviously she's kind of gone, okay, I've lost the Doctor now.
The Doctor's
I'm gonna
disappeared.
Go back to my life. I'm being followed by this person.
Can't get into the TARDIS.
And everyone who talks to this person runs away.
Yeah, that was a big issue.
For reasons.
Yeah, this was a big issue that went all the way through the whole story, that whatever... Because obviously now we know that it was her older self, an apparition of her from when she dies, because I presume that aged version of her. For,
and I quote, reasons.
Yeah. But she says things to people so bad that her mother locks her out the house, never speaks to her again. Right at the end of the episode, she says, I don't know what happened to my mother. I never got to meet my birth mother. Lethbridge Stewart and Unit suddenly turn against her and all drive off.
Yeah, the Susan Twist character again as a hiker.
Susan Twist pops up, and in this time she actually Ruby did say, do I recognise you? So she's starting to notice this character's popping up. And we also saw Mrs. Flood briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly. So, there's a lot of things that obviously hopefully are going to get settled. But what didn't get settled in this one was what it was that she was saying to people that was so terrible.
Unfortunately, we've had good Doctor-light episodes in the past, but everything good about this particular story wasn't Doctor Who.
It was kind of like... I had a really good vibe off the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I wanted, all the way through, I wanted to see where it was going to go, because it felt like a Tales of the Unexpected.
Or like a Twilight Zone type
Twilight
thing.
Zone episode.
Yeah.
What is going to be? What's going to result?
The big thing. What is the reveal?
Dare I say it? What is the twist at the end? No. Anyway, but you made a comment about an episode with Donna, didn't you?
Yeah. So Turn Left. This just felt to me. I took a couple of hours to digest it actually, but it felt like just a rehash of a what if episode. What if Donna hadn't met the Doctor? This is what if the Doctor suddenly disappeared and I went back to my old life. Mm-hmm. But I'm followed by a ghost of my future dead self that tells everyone to run away.
And that same theme of suddenly being...
Which in its... Sorry.
That's okay, that's okay. No.
But the whole thing about it is it gets to the end and it gets reset.
And that's what I was going to say.
Rendering itself
So we've seen this kind of story play out in Star Trek, where we've had characters like Picard, who then ends up living a whole life with an alien race, and then when he dies in that life, he comes back to beginning again.
It turns out he's only a few seconds.
We've seen it in Rick and Morty, where Morty goes into this whole life, and he plays out all the way through the episode, and he dies, and then he's back to the beginning again. So this is just regurgitating old storylines again, old themes. And this is what really got me about it.
Yeah.
Okay, the two things that weren't resolved. One major thing that wasn't resolved, as I've already said, was the fact what it was she was saying to people to upset them so much.
Yeah.
However, you were led to believe through this particular episode that she realises that her purpose in it is to get 73 yards away from the bad Prime Minister, Mad Jack, so that her other self, that she doesn't know is her other self at that point, can say whatever she says to the Prime Minister, and then he becomes terrified and runs away, and she averts the fact that he's just about to get his hands on a nuclear arsenal and the codes to actually have this nuclear war.
Yeah.
So, Ruby has saved the day, and the whole thing has been resolved. And then she goes on to die, and everything resets. And they come out the TARDIS, and the Doctor says, "Oh, you don't want to know about Mad Jack, who's probably the most dangerous Prime Minister you're ever going to have." And then she stops him from treading on the fairy circle, which means nothing changes. So therefore, Mad Jack is still going to happen in the future, get his nuclear arsenal.
And she's not going to prevent the events of happening.
So basically, she did absolutely nothing.
It rendered itself obsolete, pointless.
And even to the point of...
Oh my God.
Doctor has no memory that this has even happened. And she says, "I've been to Wales 3 times, and well, this must be the 3rd time." So she doesn't remember. So the whole episode was pointless.
Yeah.
Nothing did anything.
I mean, okay, you say that, but we never actually found out what happened to the Doctor. The Doctor just disappeared.
Fairy circles are strange things. Fairy circles, magic.
I quote, reasons.
Magic, you see.
But you say that, and considering how much the Doctor is like
supernatural,
saving the universe and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very convenient that no other massive disasters happened in the meantime.
So Daleks, Cybermen, the Master, anybody that you can throw at the Doctor can't defeat him.
Yeah.
Fairy circle. He disappears.
Instant. Supernatural.
He knows nothing about it. And he's gone for good. But don't worry, because it all got reset, and it was absolutely pointless. But there you go. But it did have some drama. I felt that Millie Gibson, she playing Ruby. I actually felt that it was an opportunity to get to know her character.
That was the point of this story. It was to get us to kind of empathise with her character,
and it gave her the opportunity to,
show herself.
Because I don't think she's going to be around much longer, is she?
I think she's in season 2 as well.
She's in season 2, right? So, but
there was speculation that she wasn't. But
so it's good. It's good to have the opportunity to see her act, and I think she did a very good job, and I enjoyed that. But I just didn't see where the story was going.
You say that. The whole point of the story was to obviously empathise with her character.
Yeah.
However, one big point of her character is the mystery behind her character.
Yeah, that's the mystery. Yeah.
But I feel like it's chalk and cheese here. Like, we're trying to empathise with her, but also the mystery is the thing that kind of get us to kind of stick with it. I don't know.
One would presume that because she played out this scenario where you felt that her purpose was to prevent nuclear war with Mad Jack, and she did it, but then it got reset and it's completely pointless. But her backstory of her special whatever it is, her ability, had nothing to do with any of that because she got old and died.
Yeah.
So she, in that scenario, she was just a normal person.
It was an alternate
and it stops
timeline of stuff happening.
Magical supernatural timeline.
Just because.
Another thing, right? Okay, I'm going a bit political on this one.
I'm going to find out the name of the next episode.
Okay, I'm going to get a bit political. Oh yeah, because I think they're in. They're in the.
It looks very weird.
Oh, what are we calling it? When people put headsets on, and they go into the metaverse. That's it.
Okay.
I think it's all about the metaverse. Anyway, while you do that, I'm going to get a bit political. BBC does it again. Now I'm not going to come out with any kind of political views, but what I found was really annoying with this episode as well was they presented this party with this kind of far right wing Welsh Prime Minister at the head of it, called the Albion Party, and Albion is an old name for Britain, and all the colours of the party were red, white and blue. So again, they're kind of like pushing this, if somebody likes red, white and blue, if somebody is proud of being British, somehow it's associated with being right wing. I would have preferred if the BBC can just leave this kind of stuff out of it.
It didn't need to be there.
Make up a pretend party by all means, and a pretend party flag and motif.
You really think that all the power in the world is just behind the face that runs the party?
Yeah, but just
no
pushing this, British right wing. Red, white and blue.
It was unnecessary, and it was an obvious political criticism.
I mean, as people that can see that, that's fine, but it puts seeds into other people's minds and considering
the real world for a second, do you really think that's the worst Prime Minister person in charge? No, really isn't. Doesn't cut the mustard, and this guy's just fictional.
Yeah. But at least, it made a change. They used a Welsh person instead of an evil Englishman for a change. So there you go.
Probably played by an Englishman.
I have no idea. Anyway, did you find out what you...
I did. Episode 5 is called Dot and Bubble.
Dot and Bubble. Right, okay, so we're going to hit our review on this.
Yeah.
So, how are we going to do this? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being...
Don't step on it. I don't know.
Yeah, don't break the fairy ring. I don't know.
Are we going? Was it the pasties? The pasty guy.
Okay.
The tray of pasties.
Tray of pasties was the most enticing part of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 to 10. 1 being, we've seen it all before. Nothing new. Not really that interesting.
The best parts of it were the fact that it wasn't Doctor Who-y the best parts of it.
Yeah, but that's why I liked it in a way, because I didn't think I was watching Doctor Who for the majority of it.
But are we reviewing it as a Doctor Who story, or are we reviewing it for what it is?
We have to review this as if we're watching what we are, which is a episode of Doctor Who.
Okay.
And so, 1 being pants, 10 being the best thing we've ever seen. I liked it more than the previous episodes. Okay. And I liked it more because it had me on tenterhooks through it. I was ignoring the kind of the stereotypical right wing red, white and blue party and all the things that just like the slaughtered lamb references and everything was just regurgitating other people's work. And I wanted to see where it went. But then it dropped when I found at the end of the day it meant nothing. So I'm going to give this a 4, which is my best score so far.
Now, okay. What you just said there, you said it's the best episode of the season so far.
For me.
Is that a good thing to be saying, considering the Doctor for the most part isn't in this?
The Doctor isn't.
Because I don't think it is.
I actually feel that because he's the new Doctor, we should be seeing him in every episode.
Yeah.
And seeing his character developing.
He should be smashing it out of the park.
Yeah.
But he just isn't.
Yeah,
Doctor isn't.
So anyway, you need to
again, I think much like the previous scores for the previous episode, Boom, I think I'm going to go lower than you. So you gave it a...
I gave it a 4 because I found it the most intriguing one in that it engaged me and I wanted to see where it went.
Okay.
Although it...
Nosedived as soon as it left the park.
Nosedived at the end.
Okay.
Because it was an absolute pointless...
So you're going for like a brisk walk across the hilltops.
Yeah, with a bit of Welsh fresh air. And giving it 4.
Personally, I couldn't really disagree more. I thought this was the
You're
worst episode
Go for it.
of the new run of Doctor Who that we've seen so far. The best bits about it and the things I did actually like about it were the things that made it not Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
And we're reviewing it, or I'm reviewing it, on as a Doctor Who thing. And Doctor Who wise, this was not Doctor Who, and which is such a shame because I really, really wanted this one to knock it out of the park.
Had unit in it? Briefly?
Briefly, but then
Doesn't make any difference. It all got reset.
everything is explained by the simple answer of because reasons. And the
Come
whole,
on, give us that score.
I gave Space Babies a 1, Devil's Chord a 1. I think I gave Boom a 2. I'm gonna give this one. Can we go halvesies?
Go for it. You're allowed your opinion.
0.5.
0.5.
0.5. I like the first 5 minutes. That's what you get in the 0.5 for.
The wonderful Whovians out there, the wonderful Whovians who have been putting their opinions since it aired on social media.
If you disagree with us,
have been really going, this is awful, and some of them have been saying this was the best episode they'd seen. But you know,
if you disagree with us or agree with us, please let us know. We would love to spark a conversation on the comments. Please let us know.
I'm still desperate for something fresh, which feels like Doctor Who is fresh.
Yeah.
So maybe the next episode.
Well, maybe we should like closing opinions on the actual trailer for the next episode. It looks very weird.
It looked like somebody who is entering the metaverse.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about on our podcast, funnily enough, about the metaverse before.
Go check that out, by the way.
But it looks like people are in the metaverse. They've got their avatars.
Yeah.
And there is outside the metaverse. It was like where people have got their headsets on and they're getting like had by monsters or
brain slugs
or some kind of.
It's like brain slugs.
Some kind of
Futurama.
monster. Some kind of alien monster is either outside the metaverse and taking people.
Yeah.
Or they've got inside the metaverse and they're taking people. So that's what it seems like. We shall see.
Yes. So fingers crossed.
Beware the metaverse.
Fingers crossed for me personally that it's better than what we've currently seen for the last 4 weeks, or like 3 weeks because the first one was 2 episodes.
Please let's not have another Doctor Isn't.
Please, yes. Let's have Doctor Who being awesome once again.
Yes.
If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. Comment below any suggestions for further reviews, possibly Doctor Who related, that you would like to see.
Exactly. See you in the slaughtered lamb for a pint.
Cheers.